And then you craft the narrative. So, for example, drug development is one of the most, do you know how much it costs to take one drug to the market for a company, for a pharma company? It's anywhere
How
between
much?
$1 to $5 billion. And it's a nightmare of a complexity, and that they're sitting on. The process is so complex, and it has so many stages and sub processes and different things that it is very hard to keep a trace. And then you have your clinical trials, you have all of these things coming in, right? So, but technology is here. This is common news now that 80% of digital transformation projects have failed. They're failing. Why? Because companies have gone big bang, put big, money into digital transformation. Okay, we are going to completely change the way we
Change.
work, or do everything by going vastly digital. But that fails.
Welcome to Icons Behind Brands, where we spotlight the visionaries shaping marketing strategies. Hi, I'm Devleena Neogi, your host, and I'm back with one more very exciting guest today, Miss Twastree Chakravarty, who has over 18 years of expertise and currently working as a digital business leader marketing at Altimetrik. Her journey from PR to transforming Altimetrik's marketing, coupled with experiences at Ogilvy, PayPal, ANZ Bank, and so on, brings a 360-degree perspective of marketing. So join us as we unravel Twastree's journey through Icons Behind Brands. Twastree, a warm welcome on Icons Behind Brands.
Hi, Devleena. Thank you so much for having me here.
Twastree, reflecting on your professional journey across renowned companies like PayPal, ANZ, Ogilvy, and Perfect Relations, I want to understand, what experiences that have shaped your growth as a B2B marketing leader so far.
I come from a performing arts background, so I was going to be something different in my life. My journey, my studies took me to the UK, to Northern Ireland, where I went as a visiting artist. But there I landed up a job as a good relations officer, and that was basically about. And I was representing the Indian minority community. So it was about. So there were 13 good relations officers in the region, and we had to bring the communities together over common interfaces, and create different kind of opportunities for the local communities to understand the minorities and others more. That was my first, what should I say, first taste of how communication works, and communicating with. And this was a time when even people were not even talking about diversity, about LGBTs, and we were interacting with those kind of communities as well, right? So it completely exposed me to a very different world out there, and I got hooked into communications. But then my visa also expired at that time, and I wanted to come back to India. I came back and literally took up a map, and I spotted Chennai to be a place where I wanted to go and stay, because I wanted to be close to Pondicherry. So I just went and stayed. So I just like to venture that out and see what life had in store for me. And that's where I eventually landed into Ogilvy as a junior associate for public relations. So we were still, we were doing, the ATL marketing, we were doing BTL activations, we were doing all of these kind of, traditional marketing is what was still going on. But soon realized that, there are other avenues opening up. You did not have to depend on somebody else to come and publish you. Self-publishing was coming into being. It was like, actually, it's too short to call it history, but technically, if you see, that's how the whole evolution of marketing happened within this last 15 years, within the last less than two decades, right? The entire marketing spectrum has completely evolved during this short span of time. I love to use this quote that more has changed in the last 20 years than in the last 200 years.
That's
right
true.
So from Ogilvy to PayPal, when I became, I was completely into communications. So it has been my passion, I would rather say. I really love to see when effective communication happens. And that is when what you want to say has really gone, taken, has really walked that journey and reached to the person you're trying to say it to, right? To your audience.
Right.
And then the funny thing happened with me was that from PayPal, my life took me into a an archaic and gothic institution called the ANZ Bank, which
Okay.
had 50,000 employees, but still no social media. Nobody was
Oh,
using social media.
okay.
And I was suddenly I should not use the word trapped, but I suddenly found myself in the middle of how, large behemoths, right?
Mm,
Large organizations with huge mass of, mass workforces. How do they work? How do they communicate? But they do a good job at it.
mhm,
There's not just one way of doing it. How are they doing? But ANZ back at that time had an intranet that was named Max, and we
okay.
had everything over there. It was plain built on SharePoint, but you could go apply for
Okay.
leaves, do a lot of these things. ANZ just had that, although it's a 200-year-old organization, and
Mhm.
they were still like, okay, we don't want to use Facebook. We did not have access to Facebook in our offices. As marketing and as corporate
Okay.
communications,
Oh,
it was such a weird thing for me to go through. So
correct.
that's where I think, again, I steered my career into digital marketing, because I knew I kind of
Okay.
felt that the world was heading towards that. And I
Okay.
joined Regalix, it's a digital
This is
marketing
in which year,
agency.
Twastree?
This was in 2014
Oh,
when
okay.
I moved to Regalix, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 10 years now.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and you remember that's the time when SEO and all of these things were really, picking up speed. I mean,
Yeah.
companies were
Yeah.
looking at these things that are so I think I've been very lucky in getting into the right roles at the right time, right?
Mhm,
Opportunities opened up at the right time. And going into Regalix, again, it literally took me back to my Ogilvy days, because
mhm,
that's how agencies work. And you will find very few people who have worked in an agency and in a corporate. Usually,
mhm.
it's a
Yeah.
personality. You are an agency personality or you are a corporate
Corporate
personality. I have been on
personalities.
both sides of the table, and I know how both sides work. And they all have both have their pros and cons.
Yeah.
But Regalix again took me through that. But that's where I actually found my footing in in properly into B2B digital marketing. I
Mhm.
started servicing clients like Wipro, Hexaware. Then we did some work for various kinds of happiest minds technologies. And in fact, my
Okay.
current company Altimetrik was also our client in Regalix. So
Okay.
I was technically poached from the agency into Altimetrik. But in between, I had joined another organization called Mystify, which
Mhm.
as the head of marketing, which was for a very brief stint. And then I landed up in Altimetrik, and it's been
Awesome.
like a roller coaster ride here.
I
Yes.
want to understand from you, Twastri, crafting like compelling narratives is very essential, important in B2B marketing, especially. So, how do you approach rediscovering the art of storytelling in this segment, especially in B2B segment, when your expertise and the background is into content, marketing, and branding, PR? So, how do you see this part?
Actually, it's not very different, if you see, because
Mm-hmm.
it is B2B, but you are the B in that B2B is also a person or a bunch of persons. So in
Okay,
B2C, it's
got
basically
it.
it's a company, it's a business to one person, but
Mm-hmm.
B2B is a business to a bunch of people, right?
Correct.
So end of the day, it has to be the human connect. It is a human who is sitting on the other side of the computer and reading your email. If it does not
Mm-hmm.
connect, if it does not relate to me, solve my
Mm-hmm.
problems, or if I'm not able to identify myself with what
Mm-hmm.
you are trying to tell me, I am not interested. You will not never have my attention.
Right.
So it is the same technique applies across across the board. And the better, I think, the efficiency or rather said the cleverness of a B2B marketer is in that is in that way. It is in the way of how you apply B2C techniques into B2B marketing. What do
Mm-hmm.
you do in a B2C? You look at seasonality, you look at what's on top of your customer's mind, you look at offering something interesting that the customer would probably go, Diwali is on, so let me give an offer on my brightest color clothing or something, clothing line. You would go for something like that. In B2B, you look at what's the macroeconomic situation happening. You look at the quarters, when are the budgets going to be the heaviest for for the buyers in the buyer's journey. Where is my buyer in that particular? So very important to understand the buyer's mindset and the buyer's journey in the B2B segment, right? So you have to be very clear the industry you are catering to, or it could be industries, but you have to understand that particular industry. So if I am catering to the, for example, Altimetrik has, caters to the BFSI, retail and retail CPG and the life sciences segments. So in life sciences, for example, I'm just giving you an example. We have conducted, very deep studies, and that's why we call this, call our people who approach these, who take our services to these companies as practitioners. We call them practitioners because they have deep technological knowledge and capability, coupled with a deep domain understanding, right? So as a marketer, it's my job to talk to this practitioner and understand from the practitioner what exactly is it that my target audience, my target accounts are looking for.
Correct.
And then you craft the narrative. So for example, drug development is one of the most, do you know how much it costs to take one drug to the market for a company, for a pharma company? It's anywhere between $1 to $5 billion.
Oh,
just one drug.
imagine.
So one drug from Novartis comes out, it would have costed them anywhere from $1 billion to $5 billion. And it's a nightmare of a complexity, and that they're sitting on. The process is so complex, and it's, it has so many stages and sub processes and different things that it is very hard to keep a trace. And then you have your clinical trials, you have all of these things coming in, right? So, but technology is here. What technology has really brought into the world is transparency, right? It's auditability. Now we can help pharma companies, life sciences companies expedite these processes, simplify these processes, become more agile. So these are my narratives, right? So now when I'm talking to, for example, a pharma, executive who is in charge of a certain process of the manufacturing process, piece, or probably the drug discovery phase, where they're just doing discovery, for example. I know what is the story that I need to go and tell him. And that's how, as a B2B marketer, you start looking at it's not just about developing a bulk of content. And that is why we have stayed away. In fact, we've recently won an award for our content marketing. From the drivers of digital. We recently won that award.
Twastree, I would like to understand about, you have been in this software development sector, right? You have been exploring this segment. In what ways do you think that Altimetrik can innovate its data-driven approach towards this B2B marketing to stay ahead of the competitor and meet the evolving needs of the clients in this domain to stay ahead?
I have been associated with Altimetrik for almost 8 years now, 8 to 9 years now.
Long time.
And I have seen that, how our founder has steered the organization. So for example, when I started here, he was talking about a new software development life cycle, which that was the time when waterfall was completely going away and agile, development processes were stepping in. And he was already talking about lean engineering and low code, no code, and all of these things. He was already bringing those things into our clients, into the plate for our clients. And from there, we have gradually evolved. And then we have also, right now, for example, Altimetrik is completely based or formed around something called the digital business methodology. So what we are saying is that, this is common news now, that 80% of digital transformation projects have failed. They're failing. Why? Because companies have gone big bang, put big, money into digital transformation. Okay, we're going to completely change the way we work, or, do everything by going vastly digital. But that fails because it is technology led. It is siloed. It's something that the technology team or the IT team or the IT partner, IT team went and partnered with a big sized IT consulting company or a services company, brought in a huge task force. And then there was so much happening in in that process that the business had shifted, business goals, business aims had shifted, and technology was still lagging behind in delivering. we are saying that digital business is an evolution, is a step ahead, or it breaks the issues, the problems with digital transformation by bringing in a certain changes in the approach, in the way you take up digital projects. You do incremental projects, you look at bite-sized outcomes, you create simplified pathways, okay, and you look at the end-to-end. Okay, I want to improve efficiencies in my finance operations, okay, but I don't have data. But my data is all jumbled up. It's unstructured, and it's I don't know what is there. Just do you think that if you just bring in an AI tool, it's going to work? It's going to solve everything for you
Definitely
overnight? It
not.
won't.
Yeah.
First is you have to look at your data cleanup. You have to get that engineering and governance and everything. You have to build. That's why
True.
we call it a single source of truth. You build a single source of truth. You take, and then you get the AI tools or whatever, you put the AI framework to make sure that that probably happens. You want to bring in machine learning. It totally depends case by case. It's not never a one size fits all. But when you are operating as a digital business, you have the mindset, or you are ready to accept that I need to adopt a different approach, or I need to do something in a in a more agile way. I'm not agile enough. My task force is not agile enough. So I need to do more agile. I need to get agile into the task force. Or do I need to move to cloud? How do you take those decisions? Right.
Correct.
So that decision-making process. So all of this put together, we have created something called the digital business methodology. We even published a book, last year, a couple of books last year. Our founder and chairman Raj Vatikuti authored with Professor Ramcharan. They published this book, The Digital Leader and the Digital Simplified. I'm also telling you why it's future ready, because now we are right in the hype, on the hype curve of generative AI, right?
Okay.
Altimetrik has been working on AI accelerators and frameworks for the last 3 years. More than 3 years, actually. We have been building accelerators. We have, we have foreseen the challenges that would come with AI. AI has a certain set of challenges. It's not like you just get anything. It can create images, but when you're putting AI into a business and expecting it to give you analysis and data, it's not always that easy.
I would like to understand what are the consequences of using the same AI for content. If you want to throw some lights, we have been talking about their benefits, we are adopting it very fast, but what are the consequences which marketers can look forward towards this?
So I think for content writers, it's very important to completely understand how AI can help you. Take that help, but also hone your skill. You are the writer. You're not just a writer, you're a communicator. So the difference between a communicator, I used to have just a funny anecdote. I used to have a writer in my team who was hired by my boss, and she used to start every blog. And we were doing some high tech blogs for a client of ours, and she used to start every blog in the exact same way. So there is no difference between her and a machine, right? So
correct.
And I could not break her. I was not able to make her understand that you don't need to do. So if you're writing 10 blogs on big data, you don't have to start every blog saying that big data is blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do that. You don't have to give the definition of data at the start of every blog.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there are still people who are in masses. In masses, there are people who are still, fleshing this kind of content, and it's ad nauseum. So AI can break that. AI really has the potential to completely break you through that. But it is up to us also, right? AI is under us. It's not going to overpower us. It is human intelligence. How you keep the human in the loop, and you make sure that. In fact, in Altimetrik, I'll tell you, although we are working with, we have an AI desk. I mean, such a big AI team, and we are helping our customers and everything. But from marketing, our stakeholders are quite conscious that our content does not sound like it has been made by ChatGPT.
True. Twastree, what excites you the most about the intersection of B2B marketing plus software development, because you are in both? And how do you plan to leverage the excitement to drive innovation and growth at Altimetrik at this point?
So innovation and, at Altimetrik, and especially in our marketing department, is like a constant. It's like we're always looking at ways to how to make our campaigns more innovative. We don't want to do the same. We don't run the same campaign over and over.
Again
We
and
do
again.
take up one asset and one thing, we just run it once. It dries up. I mean, it's done. Whatever results we had to take out of the market, we do it. We leave it behind and we do something new. So we're looking at, plus I'm also, what is also very exciting for me is the AI, is the data space, the marketing, B2B marketing, the data analytics and the customer intelligence, market intelligence capability that AI is bringing in. So there are lots of tools that are coming up right now. There's Six Sense,
Correct.
there's Factors.ai, there's all of these tools that have come into the picture, who were not there before. They are giving us deeper insights. Those intent driven. Now what we are doing is we're just not reaching out to. I remember in Mystify 7 years back, we used to just have this long database of clients, and we used to run all our mailers to all of them. So to all 19, 20,000 people, all our mailers are going out. But now we're not doing that. So we're looking at keywords. We're seeing if these accounts are interested in these keywords. Are they researching for these keywords on the World Wide Web? So because I'm looking at AI intelligence tools, marketing tools, I'm getting ads around that, right? I'm getting to see, and that's hyper personalization. That's the hyper remarketing, retargeting that these companies are doing. So we are also trying to do that, to do these things for Altimetrik.
Twastri, from here we are moving towards a section called rapid fire round, and the round is fun, interesting, and it's very short. These questions are it is going to allow our viewers to know you as a person a little more. Rules are you need to either answer in one word or as minimum word as possible. Okay, so we are good to go, right?
Sure, please start. I was looking forward to this.
Super. Twastri, what is your favorite age so far?
Now. It's not current, it's now. It's the power of now.
Lovely. What is your favorite work memory?
There are many, but I think in my first job, I was at a conference where I spent a little bit of time with the director of the British Museum in London.
Okay.
And it was so inspiring. So I think that would be the favorite one.
What has changed the most since you have started working here?
Well, I have matured a lot, and I have become more strategic in my approach towards everything.
What advice would you give to an employee on their first day of work?
I think observe everything, but be yourself. If it's a fit, you will know soon enough.
Lovely. If you could not work in this industry, what profession would you pursue?
I would have been a choreographer.
Look, it's so different. When are you most productive?
That depends on how much my toddler lets me sleep.
Okay, I totally get it because, this space. How old is your?
He's 2.5. So,
okay. What would you change about yourself if given a chance?
I'd maybe shed some weight for sure, but nothing really. I think I like to keep evolving, and I love to see how my personality adapts to life and different situations of life.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
Be more confident, and don't try too hard to fit in. You're good as you are. Be confident in your own skin.
So with this, we are out of the rapid fire round, Twastri, now, and I want you to talk to our viewers also. So what advice would you like to give to an aspiring marketing leader on their way? Because a lot of them are aspiring to become who you are today.
Well, just keep doing what you're doing with complete passion and, conviction. So if, understand, of course, three things are very important. One is knowledge. Knowledge is not, there's no shortcut to that. You have to have the knowledge. You have to do your research. You have to burn those midnight oils and figure it out. We have all done that. Without doing that, you will not be there anywhere. Second thing is, like I said, being confident. Once you have, and what knowledge basically does, it's one thing leads to another. What knowledge basically does is gives you confidence. So when you're talking, when you're doing something, you have the confidence because you know what you're talking about.
Correct.
That's what that leads to it. And the third thing is never be afraid, never be scared. So I think one thing that I have been, and one thing everybody who is very close to me knows me for is courage, is being extremely brave. So I'm probably not scared of anything in the world. except not scared, but I don't like cockroaches. So, so don't afraid. I mean, even if it's a very senior boss, it's end of the day, it's a human being you're talking to.
Correct.
Understand that that person is also going through probably a lot of,
Things. Yeah, they
shit.
have their own fights and their own,
Exactly. Everybody
things
has.
to
You never
deal.
know. Your boss has probably had a fight with his wife. In the morning, he's upset with you.
So I think we had a good, wholesome conversation today, Twastree.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, sharing your weekend with us. Thank you, Twastree.
Thank you.
I'm sure कि आपको ये वीडियो बहुत ही insightful and informative लगा होगा. Let us know in the comment section which part of the video you loved the most. हम ऐसे ही इंडिया के top business brand secrets आपके पास लाते रहते हैं. Please do not forget to subscribe our channel Icons Behind Brands. And that's all for today. I am Devleena Neogi signing off until next time.